I'm Eric Sanders, Manhattan Beach painter, and I'm here today to talk to you about my new show that I have created called That's Not Snow, It's Ash. And it's comprised of 7 different paintings. They're all very large-scale paintings. The smallest one is about 5 feet by 7 feet, and they go all the way up to 8 feet by 11 feet long. They're all very much in the abstract expressionist style of painting. The last show that I did was all very small-scale images. I wanted to try something really different and work at a very large scale. Contrary to the last show I did, where I used a very defined palette, I only used 4 colors in the last show. This one I was purposely trying to make the repetitive theme that links everything together visually to be the brush work, the artist's mark, so to speak. And then I wanted to vary the palette greatly to make it hopefully aesthetically more interesting and more variety, and have it be more contrasting. So that was the thinking behind a very broad array of colors that I chose for this particular body of work. I was also very particular about the brushwork style, which is very action painting. It also is physically very arduous. When I would work on pieces, I would start out, usually a lot of it was painted over the winter, so I'd come in here and it was cold, and I'd start out with a hoodie on because it was so cold, but by the time I was just like 30 minutes into painting these paintings, which I painted all laying on the floor, and I actually walked around on them, so you'll notice in almost every one of the pieces you can see my shoe prints and my hand prints. Also, I wanted a sense for the viewer to see the physical manifestation of the artist working on the piece. And that was intentional as well. I was pouring a lot of very wet, heavy oil-based paints like house enamel, and they take a long time to dry. And as they dry, the texture changes and the color changes a lot. Every one of these pieces except for one, I purposely painted on untreated canvas, just raw canvas. It was a very different kind of look than when you paint on gesso or treated canvas, because it sucked up the paint incredibly. And so I would paint it and I would leave and have a certain color, and I'd come back and it was a completely different color the way it dried. It would absorb the paint very randomly in some areas. In some areas the paint would still be sitting there. And so they had a more like almost tie-dye modeled kind of organic look to them that I really liked. The title of the show comes from, I watched a movie which came out during the pandemic, and in the movie there's a scene where they're coming into the shelter to hunker down for years to ride out this sort of almost extinction level event for humanity. And as they arrive, this young kid in the group says, "Oh my gosh, it's snowing." And somebody says, "No, that's not snow, it's ash." And so for me, that really resonated with sort of what the experience of living through the pandemic is. I definitely was paying an homage to all those great painters like Jackson Pollock and Joan Mitchell and painters of that generation. So this is my tapping into that, but reconstituting it in a modern version to reflect on a very timely topic. All work that was created during the pandemic, so it very much evokes all the emotions and all the experiences that I was going through during the entire year of the pandemic, and touches on lots of things like political unrest and things going on, the insurrection in Washington, D.C., and the whole vaccination situation, and all those things are all baked into these paintings. And this is very much like a diary for me for the whole year of this experience.